Hello friend, it's BorasLegend here, and today it's time for my first FIFA 19 video. I don't like to do too many videos on the demo as the gameplay might change, but this one will regard the gameplay. This will regard the biggest game changer of FIFA 19, the dynamic tactics. And today I will simply explain everything you need to know about this subject. You can have 5 different preset game plans in FIFA 19. To edit your game plan, you press L2 or LT on Xbox in the pre-game menu and select one of the 4 choices. The 5th choice is balanced, which will be the default choice. This will also be the one you begin every game with unless you change the mentality with your D-pad. In each game plan you can change everything from formation, which players to use on which position, instructions, and of course the new tactics. Each game plan is bound to a mentality setting. This can be changed in the game using the D-pad pressing left or right, which means you don't have to pause the game to make tactical changes. For example, we'll choose 5 at the back for our ultra defensive game plan, and in the game we only need to change mentality to ultra defensive in order to apply this new game plan. You can see how our formation changes to 5 at the back without having to pause the game. Just because it's categorized from ultra defensive to ultra offensive, it doesn't mean you have to follow it. In theory, you could have 5 defensive game plans or have your most attacking game plan bound to ultra defensive, even though you might confuse yourself. But yeah, you understand the principle. And now we're gonna take a look at the new tactical options. We have some true game changers, and this can completely change the game. You can counter so many different game styles. Yes, this really gets me aroused, this one, so let's get into it. Starting with the defensive styles, we have drop back, which is the most defensive setting. This will simply encourage the team to fall back and cover dangerous passing lanes instead of pressing up. A good choice when you just want to control the lead. Balance will apply medium pressure on the ball holder, but without taking big risks. The team will simply remain very structured, which makes this tactic applicable to many different game situations. Press on heavy touch, aka the Cobra. The team will remain structured and composed until the opponent makes a bad pass or touch. Then your players will simply strike and try to retrieve the ball rapidly. Pretty safe choice that still adds some flavor. Press after possession loss. Now it's getting a bit risky. This will make your team press crazily for 7 seconds after losing possession of the ball. You can win the ball back in golden areas, but you will also expose yourself in the defense. This is recommended to use if you have a dominant playstyle or if you're chasing the score. Constant pressure. This can be used when hope is running out or to counter a time waster. This choice will simply turn your team into angry ants. But remember, this behavior from the players is very tiring and will open up big spaces in the defense. You can't do it for 90 minutes. Additionally to the defensive styles, you can also choose width and depth. A narrow defensive width will make your team compact and is useful against narrow formations, while you might get exposed against wide formations. A low depth will stop through balls, but it will also allow your opponent to dominate the possession. Find a balance that fits you well and adapt it to different game situations. If you're trailing, for example, a high width and depth is recommended. Then we have the offensive styles, which offers you 4 options. The first one is balanced, which simply gives you variable options. The AI of the player will make the decision to either come short or go for an attacking run, depending on the situation. This gives you a flexible gameplay. Long ball is a good option if you hate tiki-taka. Your players will try to constantly get in behind. Some good passing feet combined with a fast and physical striker could give the opponent a nightmare. But if the opponent counters this with a low defensive line, you are in trouble. Fast build-up is a perfect choice for a player that loves to counter-attack. Your players will move up rapidly in their positions, opening up for through balls. This could especially be useful versus possession-style players with a high defensive line. Lastly, we have the possession style. This requires some patience. Your players will be encouraged to come short instead of getting in behind. A good passing player could easily tire out the opponent and wait for the perfect moment to strike. But if the opposing player plays constant pressure, the tiki-taka player could lose the ball in dangerous areas. Additionally, you can choose your width in attack. This won't affect your defense. A high width encourages possession play, while a narrow width gives you more options for quick combinations and 1-2 passes. Players in box will affect your team's will to get into the box when you're in the crossing zone. A high value is good if you're chasing the lead, but will also make you vulnerable for counter attacks. Lastly, we come to corners and free kicks. Here the principle is exactly the same. This will determine how many players that will get into the box from set pieces. Here I recommend a low value, as you can still score with few players in the box, but without risking to destroy your controller after counter attack. Here you can see how the most defensive option looks in the game. You will still have players in the box ready to score. Alright, so now we know everything we need to know about the new dynamic tactics, how they look and how they work, but the question is still, what is a good gameplay? How should I distribute my 5 different options? Well, everybody has different preferences, everybody has different game styles, but there are still some ground rules that you can follow when you pick your different game plans. You want to use your 5 game plans wisely and try to be as flexible as possible. The balanced game plan could be your current favorite formation with balanced values in both attack and defense, or just your favorite type of tactic, the one that you feel most confident with. Then we have your defensive choice. This could be very similar as your balanced choice, but just with a small tweak. For example, making it slightly more defensive in instructions and tactics. Then we have your attacking choice. This one could be something that differs from your plan A but without going ballistic. Simply your plan B. The formation that you feel second most comfortable with. For example, if you usually use a formation with 1 striker, the attacking game plan could be an option with 2 strikers. A small tweak that completely can change the game. On ultra defensive, you want to keep the lead to every price. This would be applied when you feel threatened and need to save up in the defense. Maybe your opponent went ultra attacking and you need to counter it. Here, a 5 at the back formation could be a wise choice, and mix it up with long balls in the attack to try to find that fast striker for the final nail in the coffin. Last but not least, you need to go ballistic at one point, aka ultra attacking. Here it could be wise to change to a formation with 3 defenders. Try to push up your players with the instructions and turn them into angry ants. The preset values from EA usually gives you a good hint how to form your tactic for each mentality. Alright, as you notice, there are a lot of different tactical options and you need to explore and try out what fits you the best. Everybody has different preferences, like I said before, but a big part here is to be flexible. Have different weapons in both the attack and the defense and try to counter your opponent. The dynamic tactics gives you the tools to outsmart your opponent, just like in a chess game. That is it for today, guys. If you appreciate this video and want to see more tutorials on my channel, make sure to drop a like. Thank you so much for watching. As always, until next time.